In episode number 9 of the Dirt Trackers Rugby Show, we talked to Andrew Trimble and Stephen Ferris from Ireland ahead of their Six Nations game with Italy at the weekend. We drop in on Rory Keane in Auckland for his take on the chances of the Super 15 sides in New Zealand. We will also hear from Western Force coach Richard Graham as he prepares for his side's opening Super 15 game against the Brumbies in Canberra. To finish up the show, we head back to New Zealand for a TV3 report on the Highlanders' preparations for their curtain raiser against the Chiefs. But first, we head over to the Ireland camp in Carton House.
I think against Wales, it was maybe that desperation. It's a strange way to describe what it is we're looking for on the pitch, but I think that's maybe what wasn't quite there. Just that intensity and that, I know that's something that Italy will bring to the game. That's something they always bring to the game, and they're developing other sides of their game as well, more width and whatever. But I think when it comes to us, that has to be 100%. That's a cert that comes whenever we put on a green shirt. That's there, that intensity, and always. Remember playing England last year, and that was the perfect example of that sort of level of intensity that is required. And I think it's just important that we get into the way of producing that every time we go on the pitch.
Did you detect a bit of flatness in the crowd in the Wales game, and was that a thing that the Welsh just put you guys under pressure at the start, or was it that you couldn't build on any big moments like a big Rob Kearney take or something like that?
Yeah, I think I don't know whether it starts with us or starts with the crowd, but I think we feed off them and they feed off us, and our performance wasn't quite there, so perhaps that affected them, or I don't know if it was the other way around, but for one reason or another something was lacking in that game, and we've worked hard this week, putting that right and get our heads right and get our mindsets right. When we perform well, like the England game last year, I don't want to keep talking about one big performance, but whenever we perform well, that was the one game in the last sort of year that I was involved in, competitive game, and whenever we perform well, the place feels like a fortress. The equivalent for us with Ulster is Ravenhill on Friday night, and there's a buzz and there's an intensity and there's something special going on, and I think it's just really important that we get that consistency where that happens week in, week out, and it's hard to get that, but it's just important that we get our mindsets right every single week, and it'll be good to have 4 games in a row, to have that consistency week in, week out. 4 weeks in a row, let's just get things going and get a bit of confidence from the first week and just bring that through and step up the level each week. So
as soon as the whistle blew, I knew that he had blown for it. I heard Mike Phillips kind of making a bit of a shouting about it, but I could have got up and made a song and dance out of it. I could have got up and started giving the referee hassle, but I just felt so low because I knew where we were on the pitch. I knew that it was straight in front of the post, and Lee was kicking well all day, so he's going to kick the points. And I just got up and just felt pretty crap. So I walked over, and if penalty had been given, I was like, right, okay. And then next thing I see Wayne Barnes looking at me going, and I went, what's going on here? I feel crap, but you're about to make me feel even worse by showing me a yellow. So that happens, and just walked off, and there were so many things running through my mind at that stage that I didn't think it was appropriate to be giving the referee a hard time, and I just kind of got on with it and sucked it up and just walked off. And Peter O'Mahony gave me a slap in the back and he said, Stevie, look, listen, these things happen, don't worry about it.
And what was going through your mind in the 2 or 3 minutes leading up to that, when Wales just kept pushing you back and back? Like, is there something in your head where you're going, I'm going to have to make a tackle here, or not like not make a statement, but make a couple of big tackles here to stop them?
Yeah, well, I think I made 5 or 6 tackles in that kind of 5-6 minute spell, and speaking to Decky after the game, he's like, Stevie, look, I just wanted somebody to come up and get stuck into the guys, because we were just soaking tackles the whole way up the pitch, and I just went up and made a good contact, a good impact, and felt that it was a good tackle, and but we probably should have stopped them. We probably should have still been in their own half, a couple of minutes earlier, and that's everybody's responsibility.
Was there any words exchanged on the field at the time, like even quickly, lads, come on, let's...
Well, they had the ball. They didn't give us it. They just had it from as soon as we give it to them. They didn't give us it back until they kicked those 3 points, and you know, you're just in the zone, and every tackle that you make, you try and make it count. And they kept getting us out wide, and then, you know, breaking us up the middle again slightly, and it was just very difficult. And they played with some really good rugby. You have to give them a lot of credit too. But yeah, it was one of those things where we probably should have nullified them a lot earlier. But it's something that we've worked hard on as a defence, and you know, we'll hopefully not let the Italians do the same thing to us.
Down in the Southern Hemisphere, the Super 15 rugby season starts on Friday, and the Queensland Reds will be looking to defend the title they won for the first time last year. We've got a good fixture list, and we have the Blues first up against the Crusaders in Eden Park. Another good games that weekend: Bulls versus Sharks, Chiefs Highlanders, and the Reds will actually play against the Waratahs, with Adam Ashley Cooper playing for the Waratahs now this season. So we caught up with Rory Keane down in Auckland to get an insight on the new season and some of the big stories down there. And Rory, is there anything else that's catching your eye down there? Another few kind of big stories as they gear up for another season of rugby down there.
Crusaders are going to be very strong. You know, we wait to see whether their new stadium, Rugby League Park, is going to be ready. And then you've got the Blues. Everyone's fascinated because they have a serious squad on paper. I mean, they were strong last year, but now they've got Nanu, Wipu. They've got a lot of good young players coming through. And then you have fallout from the Hurricanes. They've lost loads of players. And the funniest thing with the Hurricanes is a story going around that Conrad Smith is way behind on his training, because when he won the World Cup, he went to Asia with his girlfriend for 3 months, and he only came back recently. And he's admitted himself, he said he's a bit behind on the fitness, you know. And then you have Sonny Bill Williams, who just is dynamite for the papers down here on the websites. Whenever you have a story on him, people just love it. Like, he fresh from his World Heavyweight New Zealand title win, he'll be making his debut for the Chiefs next week. And the Chiefs are going to be an interesting team to watch now, because, you know, they're a hard and tough side, and they've got a lot of good young players, but especially in the backs, they've recruited Cruden from the Hurricanes. Aaron Cruden played in the World Cup final. They've got a really a very interesting midfield. They both stay fit. Sonny Bill Williams at 12 and Richard Kahui at 13. And a lot of good young players. Liam Messam, kind of forgotten man of New Zealand rugby. Fellas to watch out for: Sam Kane, Fritz Lee. And then you've got the Highlanders down in their new brilliant, probably Irish fans this thing were down there in Dunedin. It's fantastic. And, you know, they'll do pretty well. The Highlanders have always been kind of the Connacht of New Zealand rugby, but it's going to be interesting. You know, New Zealand rugby's in a very good place at the moment.
It's always an exciting time going to the first game of any season. Is there excitement around the camp, and where are the expectations?
Well, there's huge excitement and anticipation. We've been going now for 3.5 months, and the boys are really keen to get started. The expectation, every week the expectation is that you perform at your very best, and you give yourself a chance to win. And that's the expectation in the camp tonight. Now,
everyone's an expert going to the first game of the season, including sports betting agencies. A couple of them reckon that you might pick up that dreaded spoon. What do you say to that?
Yeah, for all those people that put money on us to win, probably going to get better odds, aren't they? A couple of blokes who sit behind a desk and make up the odds don't read a lot into it at all.
What are you expecting from the Brumbies?
Abrasive, a lot of field position, and looking at their last few trial games, any points are on offer, they're looking to kick. So, I think for them, look to play at the right end of the field and accumulate points will be a strategy for them.
Did you learn a bit from playing them in the pre-season?
Yes, certainly, because we haven't seen them under Jake White, under a new coach, so that gave us an opportunity to do that. And they were consistent in their approach, and we also, whilst not going to the game, we had people at their internal trial last week, and the feedback there was consistent.
An alarming injury toll has forced Highlanders coach Jamie Joseph to delay naming his team to play the Chiefs in Hamilton on Saturday. One of those missing is an All Black who spent most of last year watching from the sidelines, as Jim Kays reports.
Back training for the first time, Colin Slade will miss the start of the Super 15, still hampered by the groin injury that ended his World Cup campaign.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm looking to get back for next week's game against the Crusaders, and that's one I've been targeting.
2 broken jaws meant Slade played only 3 games for the Highlanders last year. He's keen to make up for that.
I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball, I suppose, fitness-wise, but You know, I've been doing the work in the gym and stuff like that, so yeah, sure, it'll take me a wee while to catch up, but you know, I'm pretty confident I can do it soon enough.
Coach Jamie Joseph has 5 other players out injured, while former All Black Tamati Allison and England World Cup number 8 James Heskell are not back from Japan.
It's frustrating that we don't have our full complement of players. We clearly lacked a bit of depth last year, and we've sort of filled that problem. But through the injury toll, then that depth has now been tested again.
Their work at the breakdown will also be examined, as they were heavily penalised in last week's trial against the Blues. Flanker Adam Thompson admits they have to improve.
We want to do things accurately, we want to do things physically, but in saying that, we want to stick to the law and not give away penalties and obviously not lose guys to the bin.
Adding to the Highlanders' potential headache is some good news for the Chiefs. Flanker Liam Messam will captain the side after being cleared of a calf strain.